are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports One. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Report. And once again, it is the Barnes and Tony Show. Anthony, how are you, my friends?
I'm doing all right, dude.
You're really going to give me that to start off here on a Wednesday morning?
What do you want from me, Brian?
No, you're right. You're right. We've talked about this before, and obviously a tight one yesterday. So we're going to talk about baseball in 1 second. One thing I wanted to mention, we were just talking about this a second ago. Obviously, big golf week with the U.S. Open starting tomorrow. PGA Tour Commissioner, this came out, I guess, last night. Jay Monahan is recovering from a medical issue, and Vice President Tyler Dennis will take over the day-to-day operations. They are calling this an undisclosed medical situation. And they said that they will provide further updates as appropriate.
I mean, that's tough. I mean, obviously, we wish the best to Jay and everything, and healthy recovery. With whatever the issue may be, whether or not he decides to disclose it, that's whatever, up to him. But I mean, kind of coincidental. Why you think foul play? You think foul play?
No, I was thinking about this more. I mean, obviously foul play, and I'm sure Renee joins us here with the Steelers jersey, huh? Getting excited for football season.
Yeah, I had some comments on it from I put it in.
Oh, what'd they say?
Go Steelers!
Big fan base. They travel.
Nice.
But yeah, Tony, I would say, I mean, if there was some type of conspiracy, we know Michael would be on top of it and already telling us.
Oh yeah,
what happened. But just thinking about it kind of more, I hope this is the case, because that would mean that he's completely okay. Well, first of all, it's one or two things. So the first thing, which would be the bad scenario, is that due to all the stress of this merger and the backlash, he could have potentially, had some heart episode. We don't know that. That's just speculation. Or number two, he wants to stay on, but nobody else wants him to stay on. And doing him a favor, they're saying, well, we're not going to let it be known that we're making you resign. We're going to just say that you have a medical issue, and then you're going to resign. I think it's one of those two things. Does that make sense, though?
Oh, yeah,
just
of course.
Taking a guess. Like, obviously, there's no evidence of this, but just taking a guess.
No, yeah. I mean, what the second thing you said about him, like maybe the PGA being, hey, like, you're going to have to step down.
Mm-hmm.
But if we go through, I guess, whatever hoops they want to jump through, by saying it's a medical condition, I mean, that sounds probably most feasible to me here.
Yeah. And then also, I don't know if you saw the comments by John Rahm yesterday.
No, what did he say?
So basically, he was just saying that there is a betrayal is felt by a lot of PGA golfers. And this is actually a direct quote. So this was Rahm's quote, but Kyle Porter, the CBS golf reporter, is retweeting this, I guess. I'm in a very high state of privilege in this world. I can do what I want. I can do what I love for a living. I have a blast every single day, even though I get mad on the course every once in a while. When I start with that point of view, I can deal with anything that will happen in the future. So kind of like
interesting,
not necessary. And then if things change. I'll have to adapt to the situation. At the end of the day, I'm extremely privileged. So people are saying, like, what does that mean? Like, is he not going to be on the PGA Tour? But I think, and I don't, again, like the Monahan situation.
Speculation.
Yeah, it's like him just saying, well, if there's a different way they're going to run it, a different feel, I'm gonna just have to adapt to that. I think that's what he's saying.
Again, that's good interpretation. Basically, like, oh, like I don't like this. I don't want things to change, but I mean, if they do, I'm still playing golf professionally. Like that's awesome.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
You know.
And we do have Talking Sports with Jake.
Oh yeah, he says Rory and Brooks pair together. Ooh.
Yes. So that should be a great group.
He's hyped.
And we actually talked about this yesterday. Tony was like kind of thinking, oh, Brooks will be chirping him the whole round. I think once Rory misses the cut, which would be on Friday, I guess morning wave because we're playing later tomorrow. I can see him kind of just messing with him a little bit, little pat on the back.
Oh yeah, dude.
So that'll be an interesting situation to monitor.
Maybe Rory will start swinging.
Yeah, you never know.
Fists.
You never know. And then we have another comment.
Oh yes, Donna Barnaby says, "Good morning, everybody. Good morning. My last day of school today. More time to listen to the Sports Port and have lunch with Brian."
There you go. There you go. Had a very nice, as we talked about, dinner celebration at Sally's yesterday for my dad.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Excellent. We started out. We did the Caesar salad and calamari. And I didn't even know that Sally's had calamari. I knew the salad, pizza. You kind of figured that. So that was outstanding. And then we had we split 2 pizzas between the 3 of us. Sam got her own, obviously the dairy allergy. Right. But it was a veggie pizza with onion, pepper, and mushroom. And then the other pizza was just sausage, both cooked well done. And I would say, I don't see how it could have been better, honestly.
Wow.
10 out of 10. Better than the Stanford Sally's pizza I had.
So good, dude.
It was just right on the ball, honestly. Right on the ball.
Drinks?
So they did have buy one, get one free beers. So me and my dad had an Allagash.
Oh, nice. Allagash White?
Yeah.
Nice, dude.
Allagash White, I feel like it doesn't get talked about a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's very good. And is it a wheat ale, like a shock top in that family?
Yeah, but it's just not as like fruity.
I like it better that way.
Yeah, me
shock
too.
top, I used to like it, but it's too fruity.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, shock top, even Blue Moon too. I'm not a fan of, dude. But that's dope. I'm glad you had a great time. Birthday gift for your father. Now we can talk about it.
And it's kind of funny. The theme here. Golf Galaxy gift card.
That's pretty dope. I'm sure he was hyped, dude.
Oh, he was hyped. Yeah, because when you play golf, Tony, I mean, you can never have too many Golf Galaxy gift cards. You can always use something.
That's true. And now, how was I've never really been in, because again, it's funny. I picked up from Sally's, but their pickup area is like a different sign. It's separate from the actual restaurant. So what's the restaurant like?
So the entrance is in the back. And so you go through the parking lot. You got a little host stand on the right, left, bathrooms to the right, and then the whole dining room area. I don't think there's a bar. I could be mistaken, but I don't think that there is. But a lot of tables, a lot of space, booths and tables. We were at a booth.
TVs?
No TVs. But they didn't do that in Stanford either. I mean, I don't know. I think it's just one of those things where they're getting, because you see places do it, like breweries at time. It to me, and I could be mistaken, Tony, but I feel like they're getting a little too cute with stuff like that. Oh, the experience. But also, sometimes people want to have a pizza, want to have a beer, and want to watch the Yankees-Mets game.
Yeah.
And not watch it on their phone like I was forced to do.
Yeah, no, that is tough. But then again, then you get sometimes you get people look at Colony, for example. Sometimes that place is slammed to the bar and people aren't even getting pizza,
Right. But what do they always say? You don't make your money on the food, you make it on the liquor.
That is true, dude.
So I think they'll take it anyway.
I feel like Colony makes it on the food, though.
I think they make it on both. Especially Fairfield. That bar is always
popping, dude.
Yeah.
Now your mother mentioned lunch with Brian now. Where are we going for lunch, dude?
Gaetano's?
Does your mother like Gaetano's? Yeah.
Oh yeah, she likes Gaetano's. I don't think she really has it that much.
Did you lose your headphones?
Kind of like a little kind of weird. I don't know if it's just because I stepped on it or what. It was it's like coming out of, maybe I just need to redo this. My bad. Does this even come out this way?
It twists and then pulls. There's a little locking mechanism on it.
Don't want to break it. All right. I think we're okay. Just wanted to make sure, Tony.
Just want to make sure. That's great, dude. You want to get pizza tonight? Dude,
can't go back to back. Still have leftovers, dude. We had so much, by the way.
Yeah.
Their their pizza, I want to say, is 1.5 times the size of a decent, like a Remo large pizza.
Wow.
I mean, ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I was the first one to say, because I was like, oh, we should get 2 pizzas, 3 of us. And I was like, wow. I mean, we each had full to-go boxes.
So there's leftovers.
Yeah.
That's sick, dude.
But you know how like it's like you had a lot yesterday, you had the cake, it's like it's tough because you don't want to waste it.
Right.
But it's just like a lot
Eat
back
healthier,
days.
yeah.
John at least had a slice last night. He said it was really good.
Oh, I bet, dude. Cake at the restaurant?
Ice cream cake, cookies, cookie dough, ice cream cake.
So you brought the cake to Sally's.
My mother did.
And she asked them to put it in the fridge. Yeah,
yep,
classic move.
Yeah. Because you know what the thing is? Sometimes like they have dessert there. I think you can get like a cannoli pie or whatever.
Ooh.
And it's just like, but they never have ice cream cake.
Yeah, I know.
So that's on them.
Restaurants don't understand that. There's been so many times where we brought, my family brought cakes.
Yeah. No, but we did have actually, I think it's called Red 36. It's in Mystic. Okay. And it's a seafood restaurant on the water. We went for my birthday probably 3 years ago. And they go, oh yeah, it wasn't even an ice cream cake, just a regular cake. Yeah, we'll take the cake back there. But it's gonna be, a $10
cutting
slice fee.
Yeah.
And like my mom was starting to get mad, and I'm just like, well, easy, it's all right. It's all right. Like, you know what I mean? Like the cake's here, we're gonna not have it in here.
Yeah,
Come on. But I get it. Because it's just like, you're going there, you're giving them business. They can't just cut a cake for you. It's not the end of the world. And it's like, oh, I don't know. Maybe if, you do a nice job with the cake and put it in the box when it's done, maybe you get an extra couple percent.
Yeah, dude,
so,
of course.
I don't know. What do you think? You think it's gouging doing the slicing fee?
I think it's gouging a little bit.
I mean, corkage fee, I understand that. With BYOB, but.
Yes. No, the slicing fee, it's a reach, dude.
Yeah, exactly. So, all this food talk is getting me pretty hungry now.
Yeah, dude. I think actually, I had one last bagel in my freezer left from home.
Mm-hmm.
Made a little sausage, egg, and cheese this morning, dude.
Good.
Yeah.
Where's the sausage from?
It's like frozen breakfast sausage from Stop and Shop.
Breakfast sausage. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you feel about breakfast sausage versus regular, like a hot Italian sausage?
I mean, I love all sausages,
but
for sure. But for breakfast, I mean, I don't like Country Cow, for example. Their sausage, I don't really like that much because it's Italian sausage.
Okay.
They put on their sandwiches, which, in my opinion, just doesn't belong. I don't want to be chewing on fennel seeds
with the
sandwich.
With the breakfast sausage, I feel like I had too much of it, like in elementary school, like the breakfast for lunch scenario.
Yeah.
Which was very good at the time. But I don't know, I'm kind of over it. Honestly, it feels like not good quality sausage.
Really?
No.
I think the sausage I have is fine. I mean,
is it Jack Link's?
No, it's not Jack Link's. It's Brown and Serve, I think it's called.
Brown and Serve.
Yellow box, red label. You probably recognize it if you saw it. They're always like, it's so funny. They're always like on sale in Stop and Shop. It's like 10 boxes for $10.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you not? Sure.
10 boxes, $10.
10 bucks,
meat
$10.
quality.
Yeah, I know. It's 100 sausages.
FDC.
Hey, heat up on a pan, dude. A little butter in there, brown it up.
Yeah, no. Once you dress it up, I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, dude. Why? What do you just not go sausage?
I actually don't really have sausage that much. I know we had the pizza last night, but I actually don't really. I think I was telling you this. Like this place, Lenny's, it's become my favorite breakfast sandwich place. It's in Coscob, technically, part of Greenwich. And I love just getting no meat, just going egg, avocado, onions, peppers, hash brown patty. Unbelievable. Because I feel like, over the years, the Dutch is 2 for $3 at one point, like just too much of the bacon. So I kind of got like a bacon, egg, and cheese is like too much. You know what I mean? It's like I'm kind of tired of it.
Wow.
So yeah, I kind of like no meat on the breakfast sandwich at this point.
You ever go ham?
I like a Western and cheese sandwich.
What's a Western and cheese?
It's ham, egg, and then it's like onion, pepper with cheese and in an omelet, and then on a sandwich.
That does sound good.
Duchess has it. Very good. Very good.
Very good. They never had Duchess breakfast, dude.
Yeah, no, you're missing out, honestly. And I never get the pancakes French toast, but they look unbelievable.
Wow, dude. I've only ever had the Big D there, actually. And I had chicken nuggets.
Hot dog?
No, hot dog.
Oh, yeah, we talked about it.
Next time I'll try, dude. I think one time I was there, and I was like, oh, let me go for the nuggets. And the nuggets were not good.
Nuggets can be hit and miss.
I don't like how they're like this big. They're kind of big, dude. And it's like weird. I don't know.
It depends when you go there. They're not always
weird.
like that. It's hit or miss though.
Just stick to the burger, bro. Can't go wrong.
No, I'm telling you, the chili cheese dog with bacon with a vanilla milkshake can't beat that flavor combo.
That sounds really good.
Yeah. Should we go get one?
Honestly, dude, there's one right on Post Road.
Yeah. Boston Ave too. Bridgeport.
That's right. Been to that one. That one really always fresh.
Always fresh. Yeah. Been there a while. Staple.
Yeah, dude. That's
in the Fairfield County community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're getting warmed up. We're getting hungry over here. I think it's a good time to go to the world of Major League Baseball.
What a play! Stop it, Yep. And Alonso cracks one. The Mets win the ball game. Out of sight.
And it works at 100 miles an hour. 14 strikeout.
Drove deep to left field. There it goes. See ya.
All right. So we had game 1 last night of the Subway Series, and I think you would agree, Tony, it was definitely a flip-flop scenario here.
Yeah.
Talk about all the waves of emotion. The way this game started out, obviously, I guess we'll go through the scoring and kind of do it together because I know, obviously, we usually break down individually the Mets and the Yankees game, but we have it together. So we all know by now, we had Max Scherzer on the hill versus Luis Severino. And I have to give you credit here, Tony. You said it wasn't going to be a pitcher's duel. And boy, were you right. A combined 13 runs scored, including 12 of those runs given up by the starting pitchers who combined to give 8 innings, giving up 14 hits, the 13 runs, and 3 home runs allowed, which is just insane.
It is insane.
In the first, Giancarlo Stanton, homer to left center, 408 there. What did you see on that pitch? I mean, just hung it over the middle of the plate?
Slider, hung it over the middle of the plate. Stanton took it yard. It was really as simple as that, dude.
Yeah, 2 up and just not the sharp break that we had talked about, his patent pitch.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it was like middle, dude. Like he just didn't have the movement that he wanted, I guess. So, yeah, 1-0.
You saw that,
right?
And then you felt, oh, well, this should, kind of ease Severino a little bit. He doesn't need to be perfect.
You would
maybe
think.
He'll pitch better. Brandon Nimmo, homer to right center, 429. Pretty nice swing that he had on that one.
Oh my God, yeah. And Severino's fastball is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Actually. It was like hitting 98, which is pretty impressive. Probably 97, 96 for the most I saw consistently through the game. But Nimmo, and I think I've talked about this before, sometimes he comes to the plate and he is very aggressive. And he wants to swing, and he's looking for fastballs a lot. And that fastball was, again, over the middle of the plate, and it just hit the battle of the bat. Nimmo was able to pull that thing. I think it was well over 400 feet, time of the game. That was fun, dude. That's for me, I was at home watching it, and at the time, it was actually just me in my apartment.
Texting
alone.
me.
Yeah, texting you. Yeah, exactly. So I was like, I gave the old fuck yeah, and then I just like sat back and I was like, wow, this is going to be like, to be a high scoring game.
Right.
At that point, you kind of had that feeling.
So that was the second pitch of the at bat, a 4-seamer at 95. It was actually a little lower in the strike zone, but maybe, I don't know if that's one of Nimmo's strengths, hitting those lower pitches, but he was able to drive that a long way. Alvarez was up next. He walked. McNeil flied out. And then Lindor walked. So already Severino putting 2 runners on, virtually walk, not the way you want to start a game. Marte lined out, so that gave us 2 outs. But then Brett Beatty, a single to center, scoring Alvarez and moving Lindor to third. And then Tommy Pham, I'm sure as you've grown accustomed to, struck out swinging to end the inning. So your mindset after the bottom of the first, you take the lead 2-1. Seems like the offense is going to be aplenty.
Right.
And you probably felt at that point that Scherzer was going to kind of hone in after that early mistake to Stan.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think it was Nimmo with the leadoff home run was the first time the Mets have had a leadoff home run this season. And we know about their stats, in terms of scoring the first inning doesn't happen often. So again, to see that, you're exactly right. I was like, all right, this offense is going to be pumping. Hopefully Scherzer can dial it down, which we've seen in the past where he gives up a solo shot in the first inning and then kind of dials it in, relaxes a little bit, and then pitches, a great rest of the game. Obviously, as I'm sure you're going to start to talk about, that did not necessarily happen.
But for the top of the second, he did retire them 1-2-3.
Yeah,
an IK off, a line out, a McKinney strikeout, and a Higashioka fly out to left. Severino, more trouble in the second inning. He starts out with a Guillorme fly out. Mark Canha, who's shown some signs of life, playing first base for Alonso there.
Looking pretty good at first base, too.
Yeah, looking comfortable. Doubles to the left. And then Brandon Nimmo gets hit. So now you have first and second, one out. Francisco Alvarez grounds out. And this didn't affect any of the other runners because there was a balk to give them second and third. Jeff McNeil coming up and kind of the patented Jeff McNeil, runners in scoring possession, single, just making contact. So that single actually scored 2 runs to give the Mets a 4-1 lead. Lindor made the last out of the inning on a flyout. So Mets offense, 4 runs through 2 innings, giving Scherzer some breathing room. So once again, you felt pretty good there.
Hell yeah.
And then you felt even better because the top of the third inning, other than Stanton get hitting by the pitch, Scherzer retired all the other batters in the inning. So you went to the bottom of the third inning with a 4-1 lead, and you were able to add to that. Starting Marte, you've talked about how he's kind of caught fire recently. A single. He also stole second.
Love that.
Severino, another walk. So just no command of the strike zone. I think it was 3 walk. A hit batter at that point. He does strike out Tommy Pham, like we talked about. And then Guillorme grounds into a fielder's choice. But the Yankees make an error there. So Beatty's safe at second, setting up a Canha grounding into a fielder's choice, and then a Nimmo strikeout to end the inning. Now, when that happened, you had runners on, you only had 1 out. Did you feel when that inning ended that it could potentially come back to bite, that they weren't able to, get any runs in there?
I mean, not necessarily. I mean, I feel like, you got 1 in, you were pretty happy about that 4-run lead. Torres' mistake on the double play ball, which really, it should have been an inning double play, So like, again, you felt good about that because, all right, Yankee made they're making mistakes in the field here. They seem kind of rattled. And again, like you had a 4-run lead. You're thinking, all right, like 4-run lead. The Yankees obviously have some type of mental war going as well at this point. Like maybe you can just, kind of put them away early, and then, maybe you can, tack on some more runs to the point where Boone, doesn't put his best bullpen guys in, and then just kind of, fold over.
But unfortunately for the Mets, Scherzer running into trouble, leadoff single to Rizzo, and then DJ LeMahieu, a guy we had talked about that has really struggled with a homer to left center to make it a 5-3 game. IKF singled, and then Billy McKinney hits into a fielder's choice, advancing IKF to second. Higashioka singles, moving IKF to third. And then Anthony Volpe. It had been a while, probably since that walk-off sac fly, where he had come up big in a big moment. Double just inside the third base bag down the left field line, scoring IKF. They held Higashioka at third, but then Jake Bauers comes up, singles, and scores Higashioka and Volpe to give the Yankees a 6-5 lead. That, chases Scherzer from the game, puts Leone in for the game, and he gets Stanton to strike out Torres a ground out. Now, what was your thoughts there? Obviously, at the end of the day, I mean, Scherzer's got to do a better job, but do you think that Buck left him in too long?
Yeah, I do, honestly. I probably would have pulled him after the LeMahieu home run. And again, just for some statistics, both those home runs and actually the Volpe double was off of Scherzer's slider, hanging slider, each of those 3 hits right there. And again, like just for a statistic, last season, Max Scherzer gave up 0 home runs off of his slider. And obviously yesterday he gave up 2 home runs off of the slider. It just was not working, and he kept going to it. So again, like after that LeMahieu home run, I probably would have pulled him, because it's like, dude, like your slider's not there. His fastball was having some issue with control, I guess, because of his slider. Just he didn't have that slider to kind of fall back on. And then on top of that, they were also like Cohen and Keith were talking about how every inning it seemed like his velocity was dipping, which is kind of weird. So I don't know, dude. They were alluding to maybe he's injured or struggling with something because of the dip in velocity, especially as compared to his last couple of outings. But nonetheless, I don't know. If I was Buck, I would have pulled him after LeMahieu's home run. I would have gotten Leone in there, who honestly did a good job by closing out the inning. He struck out Stanton and then got a ground out to second from Torres to end the inning. And I don't know. I think did a better job. Could have limited the damage, and you could have still had a 2-run lead at that point too. So
right, because after Severino settled down to make the Mets go down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the fourth,
of course, dude.
Top of the fifth, Leone retired the Yankees in order. A Rizzo flyout, LeMahieu strikeout, and an IKF ground out. So we go to the bottom of the fifth, 6-5. Severino trying to stay in there to be eligible for the win. He gets Marte to fly out, but gives up a single to Brett Beatty. Pham grounds out, but that moves Beatty to second. And we know with his speed, he's able to score on a Guillorme single. So that ties the game at 6. Ron the Don Marinaccio comes in, gets Kana to fly out to left. So we go to the 6th inning, all tied at 6. And then the Mets go with Walker out of the bullpen. McKinney reaches on an infield single. Higashioka strikes out, but then Anthony Volpe, another big hit, another double. That moved McKinney to third. So second and third, 1 out. And then Josh Donaldson pinch hits for Jake Bauers, which was an interesting call. Bauers has actually been hitting pretty well, so I was surprised that they did that. Fortunately, Donaldson able to lift it enough to score McKinney from third, move Volpe to third, but then Stanton flies out to end the inning. So the Yankees go to the bottom of the 6th, up 7-6. And then Marinaccio gets a Nimmo flyout, an Alvarez line out, but gives up a single to McNeil and walks Francisco Lindor. So the Yankees say enough and go to Jimmy Cordero, which I thought was an interesting selection out of the bullpen. But he strikes out Marte looking. We go to the 7th, 7-6 game. And I think it's safe to say the bullpens, really took over for this one. Interesting scenario, though, in the top of the 7th. The Mets again have a pitcher ejected for substance on the hand. Drew Smith this time. I heard some of the stuff on the radio, what he said, how he's showing. He said there's no consistency. He showed the guy from MLB as he walked out the round, made him feel his hands.
Nothing was there. The guy said nothing was there.
The MLB guy.
Said nothing was there. The umpire was interviewed after the game, said, I don't know what it was, but his hand felt sticky. So now, because of that, Drew Smith couldn't pitch last night. Obviously, he didn't throw one pitch.
Right.
Didn't throw one pitch, and now is going to probably face a 10-game suspension.
10-game suspension, and they can't fill the roster spot. So they're going to be one short for the next 10 games.
That's kind of fucking ridiculous. It's really stupid. Kind of outrageous that they were allowed to just do that. I don't understand how. And how could 4 umpires all agree? Oh yeah, it's sticky. Well, what? Don't know what it is. Literally hasn't even thrown a pitch yet.
Yeah, but it is because I'm trying to think. Scherzer, it's happened a couple of times. Was it anybody else in the Mets, or was it just Scherzer?
Scherzer. And they were. I mean, again, you can say what you will, but people said that they were purposefully targeting Max Scherzer,
Girardi.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Interesting.
It's stupid, dude. It really was.
Luckily for the
John
Mets,
Curtis comes in, who did an all right job, I suppose.
Yeah, John Curtis, 1, 2, 3.
But I don't know if you saw when he came in. I guess he had an issue. So obviously,
PitchCom.
Yeah, in that instance, he wasn't able to warm up in the bullpen. He had to come out immediately, start and through 8, whatever, how many pitches. And I guess because of that, didn't have time to put his PitchCom in. So after his warm up, he's like, "Oh, I need the PitchCom." And at this point, I guess the pitch clock was running, and then they charge him for violating the pitch clock and give him a ball.
Yeah, I did see that.
It's a fucking circus, bro. It's a joke. Unbelievable. And he was tight.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah, he was tight. He did do a good job, like we said. And then Tommy Kahnle comes in, bottom of the 7th, retires the side 1, 2, 3, but. Tommy Pham, were you tight at Pham because he kind of did a little showboat after he hit the ball and it was a flyout?
Yeah.
like cut him.
No need, dude.
If it was,
honestly,
you would
dude.
cut him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was nervous. Guillorme gave it a little bit of a ride, but not enough. So Mets go scoreless there. Curtis gives up a single in the 8th, but other than that, has 2 flyouts and a strikeout. So still 7-6. Go to the bottom of the 8th. I've talked about many times Wandy Peralta, ice in his veins, always kind of stepping up big. Definitely struggled in this one. He leads off with a canna walk. Nimmo reaches on an infield single to short. But then Alvarez, what looked like it should be a double play. Glaber not able to throw that ball quick enough from Volpe. So, he was safe at first. And then McNeil gets hit by a pitch. So then you have the bases loaded
with one out.
So one of those times, all you need is a fly ball, potentially even a ground out, depending on how it's hit.
Yeah.
And Clay Holmes summoned from the bullpen, and he strikes out Lindor and Marte in consecutive at bats here. Both went to, I ball so it was 7-pitch at bat to Lindor and a 9-pitch at bat to Marte, featuring a lot of all sinkers and sliders. And got Lindor on the sinker and Marte on the slider. Such a big spot for Holmes. And I think they said something like his last 17 appearances, his ERA is .064. So we saw how much he struggled earlier in the year, cost the Yankees a game or two. He's been lights out. And that really decided the game.
Literally. I mean, you can't really get a better opportunity than that. And against someone like Clay Holmes, obviously the sinker is impressive. It's got movement. It's 98 miles an hour. But by God, dude, I mean, the guy's a 2-pitch pitcher. And both Lindor and Marte, I mean, you're a ball away from getting walked to I don't know. Again, yes, tough at bats. Like Clay Holmes is a great pitcher, but if you're Lindor, if you're Marte, you got to figure out a way to get a hit, dude.
And also Marte, that was ball 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Lindor's was a strike, but I know Marte's was kind of low. That slider.
Lindor's was a strike. It was a good pitch, but I think he was just on top, too much on top of it and missed it
because he fouled the ball into the plate a couple times. And I was actually on my way home from Sim, so I was listening on the radio.
Yeah,
Sterling got confused. He's
it was a strikeout. Yeah.
Oh, Susan, what happened? Why are the players still in the field?
Dude, Cohen said the same thing too.
Yeah.
But dude, it's just so stupid and embarrassing, honestly, dude. Like literally, bases loaded, 1 out. Like Lindor, especially Francisco Lindor, has to figure out a way. Of course, he's asked about it too after the game. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be contributing to this team. Like, I want to help more to the game. When will that be? I don't know. Like, you're a fucking joke right now, dude. Like, you're sitting there with your stupid button-down shirt on, with your fucking sunglasses on. How about you stay at the stadium and take some BP or something?
Yeah,
like figure it out, bro.
No, he's just chilling, man.
Like, are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Yeah." No, that was bad.
Unbelievable, dude. And even Marte, too. The whole fucking night you want to strike out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's so despicable, bro. It's terrible.
And I think there, too, Lindor. And the thing is, Holmes does give up a lot of ground balls. Like, you're telling me that you can't, sneak one through? Honestly. Especially when there was 1 out, because I feel like I don't know if they were playing in.
They were playing so far in.
Okay. Yeah.
So far
you
in.
You can't. I mean, I loved it, but I'm just saying, you should be able to do that. Holmes does give up a lot of ground balls, but I think he was going for the big, blow there and trying to hit a grand slam.
Unbelievable.
Yankees in the 9th, facing former Yankee David Robertson. Yep. Strikeout twice, a pop out mixed in between a Torres single. Go to the bottom of the 9th. Sterling, I don't know if Ron and Keith said anything, but Sterling was surprised that they didn't keep Holmes in. Instead went to Michael King to get the final 3 outs. And as he's done many times this year, retires the Mets 1, 2, and 3. A Pham strikeout again. I think 3 strikeouts on the night for Pham and the fly out to deep left. And Guillorme ending the game on a line out to center. So very exciting game. And like we've seen between these teams, it really does always go down to the wire. So obviously there's 2 sides to this one, but I can only imagine, Tony, how you're feeling after this one.
Yeah, dude. And especially, I mentioned how infrequent we score in the first inning. I think it was the first time this entire season that we scored in the first 3 innings as well. And then just, when it fucking counts and when it really matters the most, like guys just go down on strikes, like whether it was looking or swinging. It just seemed like they kind of crumbled. It sucks, dude. It really does suck because, that matchup, especially, against Severino, you're kind of licking your chops a little bit. You certainly would think you have a pitching advantage there with Scherzer on the mound. But it's tough, dude. I mean, like I said, like, you get all this offense going. I can't even tell you. Like, it's so many fucking runs have been scored by the Mets in the last like 5 to 8 games.
And they've lost, is it 9 out of 10?
Yeah.
And they're probably averaging 6 runs a game.
Yeah, literally. Like, it's so unbelievable. And it's just like the whole bullpen guy, the Drew Smith 10 games out sucks. Bring in, Walker was like a new guy. Bring him kind of sucks. Leon that was the best pitching I've seen from him all season. Because he sucks too. So I mean, like, oh my god, when he was warming the bullpen, I was so excited. Like, so I guess we'll see about him, but you don't expect anything really out of the bullpen at this point.
Yeah,
Robertson looked good. That's great, but it sucks. I mean, tonight we have Verlander, but who do you have on the mound? Cole.
Yeah.
So it's like,
advantage.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's tough, dude.
It is. And then Buck kind of, little heads in the cloud answer. They were asking why. And I know, I mean, obviously they could have hit a home run, but, why he didn't pinch hit for Guillorme and why Vogelback, if he's on the roster, so you're not going to him and then you're not going to Vientos. And then Boomer and Gio were saying they think Buck doesn't like Vientos. So if you're not going to play him, you might as well send him down. But it's like, you might as well play him.
I know. I mean, I think that was obviously, I mean, that for me would be a tough like position for Buck. I don't blame him for keeping Guillorme in there. And he had, I mean, it was a good at bat. Like he hit that ball really hard. It was like on the warning track. And we've seen him come up with big home runs before. So it's like, I don't know. If I was Buck, I'm thinking to myself, like, all right, Vientos, like in a big spot. The guy's young. He has been batting well. Odds are he's not going to really be effective at the plate.
Against Michael King.
Yeah. And then, you'll get Vogelback. Obviously, he's probably your best bet to just try and crank a home run. But he fucking sucks, dude. And again, like if you're a Buck, you're probably thinking, well, all right, if I send Vogelback out there, he strikes out. I mean, that's not going to look good for me. I think keeping Guillorme, honestly, in there, I think was probably the better move. Vogelback should be fucking playing anyway. He shouldn't be in the roster.
Yeah.
So I don't know why people would be like, oh, why'd you put Vogelback in? Like, what do you mean why? Like, he sucks. That's why. Like, if I'm Buck, that's what I would say to the media. Like, he sucks.
But he's not going to say that. Yeah. That's for sure. So, I mean, I know, like I said, disappointing on your end, but it definitely was a really exciting game. And like we mentioned the range of emotions. When it was 5-1, I mean, I was so like just downtrodden. Like, it's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, this is ridiculous. And the comeback, hanging on, it definitely re-energized me. And it was nice to see guys like LeMahieu and Volpe who've been literally doing nothing, contributing. So
nothing.
I felt good about that, but obviously, definitely some reason for concern for Luis Severino. I don't know, what the issue is. I hope, it can get corrected. And we know we have Randy Vasquez waiting in the minors, but the thing is, we've been going 4-man rotation because of 2 off days this week, so we don't need a 5th starter. But we may need to go to him at some point.
Yeah.
Bader back Friday, rehabbing with Corey tomorrow.
No, that's great. Yes, Corey, I'm sure, is ecstatic.
you just is ecstatic.
Well, yeah, obviously, dude, this is super tough. Again, you mentioned, Bader was out. Like Judge is out. Like this is the moments where like the rest of the team sucked. Like. I feel like without Judge around, like the Yankees were blowing it, dude. Like no one was really picking up any slack.
But
obviously, a little different coming to this game. But I don't know if you heard Michael K yesterday, but him, Don, and Peter were talking about the like, is there any like juice to the Subway Series? Because of the no Alonso, Judge, and they were saying how it's like a disappointment, whatever, it sucks. Why, and they did mention only 2 games, but they're saying there's no juice around the games as much. Which I thought was such like just a bad take. I thought,
yeah, it's like obviously we all want to see them play, but at the same time, if it's Yankees, Mets, no matter what their records are, people want to see it.
Yeah, places were packed, dude. I don't know if you saw. I don't know because I was watching obviously SNY broadcast.
Yeah,
which actually was on Pix 11 yesterday for some reason.
Oh, okay.
And I got kind of thrown off because I had TBS on for the pregame, and then obviously when it came time for game time, it just like shut off. I was like, oh shit.
Blackout.
SNY, they had some Knicks thing on. I was like,
Yeah.
what? And for a minute, I was watching the Yes broadcast. I was like, I gotta get out of this. So I just like
Coney did.
Oh, stop it, dude. But anyway, second inning, I don't know if Yes did this too, but SNY interviewed Patino. He was at the game.
I did see he was at the game.
That was dope. They interviewed him.
Did you know first pitch?
No, I think R.A. Dickey did.
Oh, R.A. Dickey did.
Yeah, because they interviewed R.A. Dickey after Patino. They showed Matt Harvey in the stands too. Would it be that
bad of an idea to just see if he could offer anything at this point?
I don't think so.
Knuckleball was pretty lethal.
I
mean, how could you not throw a knuckleball till you're 60?
I know, really, dude. And they were talking to him about the knuckleball, but he seems pretty happy being retired because he's like, oh, yeah.
Is Keith just like ripped at this point? I mean, he's got to be, because he was complaining about the Phillies last year. I mean, at this point in the season, I'm saying he must be so pissed.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole Phillies thing was maybe a little overblown by someone in the studio here.
It was pretty ridiculous. We've never seen an announcer do that, though.
He hasn't really mentioned it since then. So,
but I'm saying just that specific comment scenario, pretty ridiculous, pretty diva-like.
Yeah. But I don't know. I thought there was a lot of juice. I thought the interviews were great, dude. Again, to hear from R.A. Dickey, that was kind of cool. He talked about his time with the Mets, obviously.
Right.
And I don't know if but they cut to a shot of Matt Harvey during the game. And again, I could have swore like Matt Harvey's sober.
Mm-hmm. He's having a beer. Is he sober though?
I thought he was like,
oh, okay.
So because of the whole cocaine drug problem.
Yeah.
Like I thought he was. Maybe I could be wrong, but it also did seem like because he was like, I guess with his wife or whoever. And they were like talking, and I guess he didn't realize they didn't know the camera's on them. And then it seemed like somebody was like motioning to him that he's on camera, and then he was like, "Oh, beer," and put it down.
Yeah. Well, everything's a charade, Tony. You know that.
Yeah. But that was interesting, dude.
So, and Michael seemed like he was a little riled about this.
Yeah. I guess you could say that. He says, "Let's go, Yankees, Mets. What a game." Yeah, Mike.
And then MLB
needs a Subway Series. It would take TV ratings to the moon. I mean, it obviously would.
Yeah,
like a Subway Series, World Series.
Yeah. And I know 2000s the ratings weren't good, but I just think it would be different now. A lot of star power.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of enthusiasm, and then you just think about how the Mets fans, were hungry at that point. Had been 14 years since '86, and here we are another 23 years later. So there will be a lot of enthusiasm,
right,
for the games. I mean, collectively, what is that? 37, and then the Yankees 14. So I mean, that's 51 years combined of waiting for a championship. So there would be a lot of anticipation.
Yes,
if we are able to eventually get that. We'll see, but kind of beating a dead horse here. And I know, of course, yes, you're disappointed with the result. But just generally speaking, from a non-fan perspective, it was a really entertaining game. Like, it was down to the last second, back and forth, a lot of runs. No, I'm saying, right or no? The point I'm making is, it seems like whenever they play, it is always like that.
Yeah, we were saying yesterday too. It's always tight.
Yeah,
whether it's low scoring or high scoring, it's always down to the wire.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude.
So we'll see what'll happen tonight. Before we get to that, though, I did want to give a shout out to the Oakland A's, and we talked about this for the show. 2-1 over the Rays. They've taken the first 2 games of that series.
Yeah.
7 straight wins to go from 12-50 to 19-50. 27,000 people there. I mean, usually they have about 8 or 9. And then all going silent to chant "sell the team." Harris, who you had talked about getting 1 out, 7 earned runs, 7 innings, 1 earned run, 2 Ks. People are talking about they're putting World Series odds back up for the A's. I mean, what do you make of all this? I mean, obviously, I know they're not going to recover.
There's no way. What would we say? There's still how many games under 500?
31
games. Interesting. Honestly, I heard about this yesterday. I forgot to mention it on the show. But they had they called it a reverse boycott night.
Okay.
Which is obviously you think of a boycott, it's when you not go to something or buy something. So like get everyone in the stands and let's try like yell at people to sell the team. I guess.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, you could clearly hear
which
it.
is like so funny, dude.
Yeah.
The idea of it, and honestly, I heard about it yesterday. I was like, well, it's probably not gonna work, but clearly it did. And the fact that the A's are winning games is kind of ironic. I don't know, dude. I mean, I don't know. You think they're gonna sell? I don't think they will, honestly.
So no, but I think though, if you go to the evaluation, once Vegas is secured, I mean, I would think there would be a lot of value there, but then the value is just going to grow since you're going to Vegas. So I guess that's a long-winded way of saying I don't think they're going to sell.
Did you hear what Steinbrenner said about the A's? How like the minimum budget for a team is too low in the league.
Yeah,
and it's hurting everyone.
Yeah,
what is the minimum budget?
No, I don't think there is one.
Oh, there isn't.
No. Oh, I guess if you had everybody on the roster at the minimum salary,
right?
But yeah, it's a joke. You shouldn't be able to do that. I don't think you should be able to have a payroll under 100 million. That's not a lot anymore. Like it used to be, but it's not. And 100 million is like it's nothing. Like I said, and it's just like the fact that they're doing that. I think the Rays might be under 100 million as well. Probably Cleveland, I would think too.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be able to do that. Pirates.
But then again, look at the Rays.
Look at the Rays, but they never do it though. So it's like it gets you to a certain point, but
well, 100
you need
million
a
is your minimum.
And I think really to have a successful team and you do everything you can minor league wise, I mean, I think the minimum to do that should be probably 140, 150, really to like win a title. Like you can't come on, that's just getting too ridiculous.
Yeah. Speaking of minor league, I think it was it was when John Curtis came in. They were saying how he was interviewed before the game, talking because he was in the minor leagues. And he's been, in the league for fucking years, probably like 8 years, I want to say. And he was saying how he just got sent down to the minors. It was like, oh, like the minor league now is like so different. It's like you get good food, they give you good money, you get a nice hotel, like travel isn't crazy. You get like, you get like a two games somewhere, and then you don't travel for another week. You get a homestand. Like it was interesting hearing him talk about what the minors are like, which is dope, dude.
Yeah. A long time coming.
Yeah.
Definitely a long time coming.
Of course, Keith was like, oh, back in my day, you got a $10 stipend for the week.
You really like Keith that much?
Yeah, I do. A lot, actually. I think that they're Keith and Ron and Gary over there are quite literally like the best broadcasting team. They get awards every year for it. And SNY does a phenomenal job with the broadcast. They rarely have mistakes. Steve Gelbs is even good too. I don't really like that much when he does play-by-play because I don't know, he's kind of like a fucking nerd, honestly. But he's all right. He's good. Interviewed all right, Dickie. He does a great job of the interviews in the stands.
Like, and it's not even. I know you're not going to believe this, but it's not even a Mets thing. I just feel like Gary Cohen's voice is so like just uninspiring.
Talk about uninspiring. If I turn on the Yes Network and I hear the breath, the inhale for Michael K before he talks, it's over, dude.
I think he gets.
Stanton.
I think though that there's so much more emotion and passion on Michael K than Gary Cohen.
No,
it's too vanilla.
Come
dude.
on,
it really
dude.
is. It really is,
dude. He always talk. No way. He has such passion for baseball in general. Such passion for the Mets.
It's too nasally.
No, it's not nasally. Okay, he gets so amped. He gets so excited. He shows so much emotion.
It
dude.
sounds like a chief getting excited, though. I'm sorry. It just does.
He's a really great guy.
Alonso hits one deep to right, and the Mets are going to win the ball game.
That's not at all what he sounds like.
Yes, it does.
My impression of Michael K was way better. Stall. See ya.
I think what makes up for Michael K is that I think, despite I have a little issue with Coney with his Mets discussions, but Paul O'Neill definitely does a great job. So I think that makes up for it in my eyes.
Yeah, I guess.
And you're also Granderson. I think I tagged you in it saying that he said Citi Field was louder than Yankee Stadium.
Curtis?
Yeah. So
really,
I
mean, he would
Twitter,
know. I guess. Right?
I said on Twitter, it's over for you, bud.
That's pretty interesting. They were also doing like a graphic of how many managers have coached both the Mets and the Yankees.
Yep, Joe Torre.
Joe Torre, Yogi Berra, and obviously Joe Buck were the three that I knew of, but they mentioned two other ones.
Wait, who was the last guy?
Buck.
Oh, I thought the way you said it, it sounded like you said Joe Buck, and I'm like, Joe Buck.
Joe Buck, dude. No, Buck. I don't know what I said.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, whatever.
Yeah.
But they were saying how no manager had ever been a part of a Subway series on both sides.
Well, yeah, because it was just Bobby V and Joe Torre.
Right.
There was no other Subway series. But unless you're including like Brooklyn in it,
no,
that was the only Subway
yeah.
series.
But that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then of course they mentioned Robertson playing for both sides too.
Yep. Todd Frazier, who was in the studios in Stanford last night.
Really?
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, Todd's a good guy. But one other thing I just wanted to mention, we did have the Padres, who definitely have been playing better. I think at one point they were maybe 7 under. Now they're only 2 under after a 6-3 win over the Guardians last night. Josh Hader striking out the side in the 9th. But Gary Sanchez, his 6th home run with the Padres, slugging .623, a 3-run homer. I know the average, I guess, because they're combining the Mets tenure, only sits at 245, but pretty remarkable what he's doing, Tony.
Yeah, I guess so.
903 OPS.
Yeah, no, that is great. I mean, do you expect it to?
I think he could hit at least 250 and slug over 500, honestly.
Okay.
And so if we're talking specifically Padres,
yeah.
It's 6 home runs in 47 at bats.
Kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, really giving that team a shot in the arm.
I
that
know,
they need.
dude. Coming from him too. I don't think anyone would have thought. Also, did you hear Luke Voigt?
Yep.
I think bases clearing triple.
I did hear that, and they think that Vientos is going to get sent down, and then they're going to bring up Voigt. I really could see Voigt, though. And I'm telling you, that guy, he has a lot of emotion that he plays with passion. I really think it could be a good thing in all seriousness, especially with a Vogelback DFA. That's
what it is, dude. Yeah. Yes. Vogelback DFA, keep Vientos up, and then just bring up Luke Voigt.
Yeah.
That'd be great, dude. And honestly, I don't know. I still would try Vientos at first base, even too. Because Connor's been good. Like, he was good last night. He didn't make any mistakes. But there's definitely I don't know. There were some plays where it didn't seem like he was comfortable with picking the ball off the ground as much. So he did a good job in smothering it and keeping it in front of him and, getting it out. But there was a couple times where could have been a double play, but ended up just being 1 out because he was a little slow, which is, again, you're going to get that drop off. The man's rarely played first base. But then why not just try and put Vientos there and try him?
Right.
Get the man some more time, dude. And Tommy Pham, do we really need him?
Yeah, no, it's
again, I feel like you can have Guillorme off the bench, put McNeil back at second, and then throw Connor back in left field.
It is one of the more ridiculous things that I've ever seen. It's Aaron Hicks territory, who he's actually going off. The Orioles beat the Blue Jays 11-6. I just want to pull up his exact
starting
numbers.
for them.
Yeah, because of the Mullins injury, he's their center fielder.
Wow, he's playing center.
But he's got 2 home runs with the Orioles so far. I know he hasn't been there that long. I'm going to give you the exact breakdown here if you just give me 1 second.
Sure, take a second.
But it's people are almost saying was he, even though he's obviously been bad for years, but it's was he almost exaggerating it more this year to get off the team, which is interesting. So? I mean, he probably, not that it was anybody was dying for him to be their starter, but he probably was tight about the inconsistent playing time. And I know very small sample size, but in 33 at bats, he's hitting .364 with 2 homers and 5 RBIs. In 69 at bats with the Yankees, he hit .188 with 1 homer and 5 RBIs.
In 33 at bats, the Orioles, he's hitting .364. You said,
yeah.
Wow, dude, that's pretty good, dude.
Crazy.
Maybe it's just bad clubhouse energy over there in the Bronx, dude.
He's a bad clubhouse energy. That guy could go. We have a couple comments.
Yes, we do. A couple good comments, dude. We have Ryan McNeil saying that my Michael K impression sounds like Michael K having a stroke.
I think you can say the same about Mike Gary Cohen.
Yeah.
Alonso cracks one and the Mets win the ball game.
I can't believe that's what did you actually hear that when he talks?
It's in the baseball video.
Oh gosh, dude. And then we have another comment from Michael K. Mouth Breather.
This sounds like preferred.
Yeah. He says some say Pete Alonso's back before the end of June. Jose Quintana is pitching minor league ball. I did see Quintana coming back, which will be
This is preferred, by the way.
interesting. It must be, dude.
Yeah. So preferred, haha.
But
right.
Michael K is definitely a mid too.
Oh yeah, I think you just said that. I think you. But that's why I prefer changing his name to Michael K. Mouth Breather.
Or it could be Michael.
Yeah, either one. Or DVD guy. Or
VHS
guy.
DVD. Yeah, the VHS DVD guy, dude.
Fell for that one, buddy.
Dude. But that'd be dope. Obviously, Alonso back is good. Quintana is good.
Rodon back next month.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what Rodon does.
Yeah, he wasn't that impressive in our MLB The Show game. A lot of walks, not a lot of strikeouts.
Dude, what do you say tonight? I skip Craigo. I'll meet you at your place in Stanford. I'll pick up Remos on the way, and we just rip some MLB The Show.
Can we get that cleared with Craigie?
Yeah, probably not, dude. There's no way, dude. That'd be sick, though.
Yeah, definitely would be sick.
I'm really itching to play more baseball and PGA, honestly, at that point, dude.
Yeah. No, we'll get back out there soon. That's for sure.
Don't lie to me.
No, we will. Honestly, I think we could probably really start going on the Mondays, or at least every other Monday. I just know next week, birthday, but the following week we're probably good.
Your birthday.
Yeah.
So is it that Monday?
I don't even know the
Monday.
date. Yeah. Juneteenth, Tony.
June 19th is Monday.
Yeah.
All right, dude.
So, obviously we got the Yankees Mets tonight. I know we talked about it quickly. 7:00, Cole Verlander. Both pitchers, I guess you could say, recently have been up and down. Obviously, Cole had the great start to this season, kind of in between last couple outings, decent against the Red Sox in a game that they lost. Verlander had a good run, and then last start was not good. ERA sitting at 4.85. What are you looking for in this one? What are you expecting to see? I mean, where are you with this?
So obviously, Verlander's ERA, nowhere near what you would expect from him. Again, we talked about what he did last season, everything like that, the age, whatever, but still, I think the guy sort of has had bright spots. I want to say the one of maybe 3 times pitchers have gone into the 7th inning. Verlander was one of them. So he has the capabilities. I think Verlander is someone who is, pitches somewhat like Scherzer, where he has that inclination to hammer the fastball and to really establish that fastball, then work off of that in terms of mixing in his breaking balls and off-speed pitches. Has a good curveball he likes to go to as well. So listen, he has the capabilities of making this a pitcher's duel. It's pretty interesting, honestly, because I don't know, you look at this, and if you ask me, I think it's gonna be another game like last night where it's gonna be a little bit of a shootout. But obviously, as a Met fan, you're hoping Verlander comes in here and deals like he has done a couple times for the Mets this season and gets like 7 innings, 10 Ks, gives up 2 hits, no walks, no earned runs, which is very possible. Again, like, this is a Yankees team coming into this series that we're not batting well. We're not batting well at all. If I were to say to Verlander some piece of advice, I would say don't leave any breaking balls hanging over the middle of the plate. And try and work the corners as best you can. Get people to really swing and miss. Try to limit your pitch count. Because we're going to need you to go deep into the game. We're like literally going to need you. You have Ottavino out of the pen. Obviously, now we know you can't use Drew Smith on back-to-back days. So you're going to probably have to go to Brigham again, I guess.
Leon?
Again? I don't know, dude. It's so tough. Walker was only in for like 2 batters, so you could try and use him again, but that's someone who hasn't really pitched a lot. I think watching Walker, I think it was his debut last night, honestly. Native New Yorker. Actually, kind of funny they were saying he grew up a Yankee fan. His dad's a sanitation worker in the Bronx. Classic dude. But he's like 6'5", like 220. He really gets behind the ball. His fastball's hitting like 98. So the man's got the velocity. So maybe try and give him another shot and throw him to the wolves a little bit. But again, you're hoping Verlander. I'm saying right now, like I said just before, 7 innings, no earned runs. What did I say? 2 hits, 10 Ks. Let's go. No walks. Easy win for the Mets. Alvarez, someone who, I mean, obviously he's been, hustling. He's a great player, but again, like looking for a dinger from him tonight for sure, dude, to get people hyped up at Citi Field, especially. McNeil hit really well. Expect to see that again. Nimmo too. Obviously, the first pitch, the leadoff home run. Love that. Do you have much confidence in Lindor? No. I would expect him to go like an 0 for 3, 0 for 4 night. Again, same thing with Marte. If Pham starts a DH again, we'll see. But yeah, you expect Khan to be at first again. He had some good at-bats. So the offense is there. We know that already. It's just really about the pitching. Like I said, Verlander, let's do it.
What was the score?
I didn't say the score.
So I'm asking you.
I'll say 5-3.
5-3. Yeah, I think I feel good about a vintage Cole performance.
I don't know, man.
Last time out, against the Red Sox and the Dodgers, he's pitched well. And he hasn't had a double-digit strikeout game in a while. I think that ends today as I'm going to give him 6 1/3, 10 strikeouts, 4 hits, no runs. And the Yankee offense churning again today. Volpe and LeMahieu contributing. Stanton another homer. 6-2 Yankees take the second game of the Subway Series.
One step closer to Colony.
One step,
or so you think, dude.
Closer to Colony. What do you think about Mouth Breather saying that the MLB show Subway Series ending was cheesy?
I mean, it was kind of beat, dude.
Well, beat for you, but like, what do you want me to do? I'm running on the pitch. I see an opportunity.
Right.
I'm
I'm
going to take it. I hadn't scored a run all game.
Right.
But also, like, because obviously I'm just focused on what I was doing there. Like, was there any chance to get the guy at home? Like,
yeah, definitely, dude.
Okay, so it's like after the third baseman threw the ball, was it shortstop? I think it was shortstop.
No,
right?
third base.
It was third base. Okay,
Yeah.
So when the first baseman caught it,
Mhm.
like you just didn't know he was going home.
Yeah.
If you threw it, you think at least there would have been a play.
I mean, I could be crazy, but like, I mean, obviously, I can't see who's running. Like, I couldn't see. Like, I could see a guy. It's like they showed me, like, oh, he's right. Like, no one said anything to me.
Like, meaning like the announcer, like, he's taking off for home.
Yeah, like, and it's like I'm not the third baseman. I can't look down the third base line and see, oh, there's a guy running. Like, you just see this much around the third baseman.
Well, not to play devil's advocate, but does the announcer say that during the game, like to the players?
Well, no, but I'm just saying.
I'm just kidding. I
like, you know how like when you steal a base, like you hear someone say he's going, like in the background. You're like, okay, I know he's going.
Yeah. There'll be more.
Yeah, there will be more, dude. There will be more. Okay, Mouth Breather, but it has to be before at this point, though, because right.
Yes, it's prefer. I don't know why he just draws it out so much. Like, we don't know. But Tony's anyway. Mice. What do you got for number 2?
Oh geez, I totally forgot that we were picking these games here. Let's see, number 2 real quick. Oh, Minnesota against who? I just saw their lineup.
Bear versus Ray.
Robbie. No, I'm not gonna touch that, I don't think. Interesting. Braves Detroit doubleheader here.
Yeah, actually, I have an extra pick because I got rained out yesterday, by the way. You still have a nice lead there. 14, is it 14? 15-11.
15-11.
Yep.
What did we say we were betting this one?
The dinner.
Oh, dinner anywhere the person wants. Okay, yeah. That's funny. I mean, Spencer Strider in game 1 here. Sure, I'll take it. Braves on a 2-game losing streak here, actually losing to the Nationals and dropping game 1 against Detroit here. So give me Strider. Obviously we know he's been pretty lights out. Didn't bode too well against the Mets earlier this month, but nonetheless has been pretty lights out other than that. Good for probably giving up 2 earned runs, honestly, but still giving you some length. 6 or 7 innings. Braves have one of the top bullpens in the game in terms of ERA in the league, I should say. So Detroit being 10 games under against Olsen, dude, 23-year-old who actually pitched pretty well against Philly and Chicago in his first 2 starts of his major league career. But nonetheless, I would say he's probably going to give up 4 runs against the Braves. So the Braves win this one. I'm going to say 6-3.
I'm going to take the Padres over the Guardians. Waka versus Savali.
Love that. Dude.
We know the heater that Waka's been on, and I know Savali, I think, has an ERA in the 2s right now, but we know what happened. I think it was game 5 at Yankee Stadium last year in the division series. Couldn't get one out, and I think he gave up 5 runs.
Yikes.
But you look at Waka. He is, talk about a heater. I mean, his last 5 starts, he's allowed no runs 3 times and 2 runs 2 times. His ERA all the way down to 3.18. I think in April it must have been like 6.
Mm-hmm.
And even going further back. Okay, so this is just to give you an idea of how well he's pitched. So in May, okay. So yeah, April was a 6.75 ERA. May, his ERA was 0.84, 32 innings, 16 hits, 3 runs, 1 homer, 7 walks, 26 strikeouts.
Whoa.
And then so far in June, 1.69, 6 scoreless innings last time out against Seattle. Another 6 scoreless innings tonight against the Indians. I think he gets 10 strikeouts. And I think Gary Sanchez hits yet another home run as the Padres defeat the Guardians 5-1.
Wow. Yeah, I like that, dude. Fucking Sanchez, dude. So anyway, I'm gonna go with the Rays tonight. I know they just dropped their first 2 games in a 4-game series against Oakland here, right? In Oakland, and we just talked about the stands, the people coming in, almost 30,000 people at the stadium, whatever. Probably go back to somewhat normal numbers tonight, I would imagine. And on top of that, on the mound for Tampa Bay is Tyler Glasnow, making, I believe, his 3rd start, maybe 4th start since being back from injury. Maybe his 4th start, who's pitched pretty well. I was watching his pitch count, his first 3 starts. He's been hanging around 80 to 90 pitches so far. First start against the Dodgers, 4 1/3, 3 earned runs. A little tough there, but got 8 strikeouts over 4 1/3 innings. After that, Boston, 5 1/3, 1 earned run with 6 Ks. And after that, against Texas, 6 innings, only giving up 1 hit off of a solo shot, home run, which is what your 1 earned run, which is what he had, and 6 Ks as well. So definitely getting better, getting looser, getting more comfortable coming back from injury as his starts come on. Now, like I said, making his 4th against the A's. You'd expect Tyler Glasnow to look like, a couple of years ago when Tampa Bay was in the World Series sort of deal, and he was absolutely dealing. It's great to see him honestly back from injury and pitching again. The guy's incredibly talented. So I would expect something like, honestly, like 6 2/3, 1 earned run, maybe 8 or 9 Ks for him. Limiting the walks down to, let's say, 1 walk. I know he had 3 walks in his past 2 starts. So give me the Rays winning this one. I'll say a tight one. I'll say 3-1.
Speaking of a tight one, we got Kershaw. Okay. We got Kershaw versus Clevenger, who's actually pitched better than I would have expected this year. Kershaw was great against the Yankees when he pitched against them. So I think this will be a pitcher's duel. I could see it being 2-2 after 6. And then they will get a Mookie Betts 3-run homer to bust it open and end up defeating the White Sox 5-4.
Nice, dude.
And I have one more
pick
off
for
day
you.
yesterday. Yeah. Luis Castillo will dominate a Marlins lineup that has got them to 37-31.
Really?
Perez on the hill for Miami, 2.17 ERA. Mariners at 500, but have been ascending since a tough start. And this is Yuri Perez, Tony. He's 20 years old, and he's got a 2.17 ERA. You look at it. I mean, I'll just tell you about that. You'll get a kick out of it, though. You'll get a kick.
Okay.
But yeah. Anyway, his last 3 starts, he's pitched 5 innings and he's allowed 1 run combined. So he's had some good luck there. But I think Julio Rodriguez will have something to say about that. A grand slam to balloon that ERA and give the Mariners a 4-1 victory
Love it.
over the Miami Marlins, Tony.
Marlins been playing very well recently.
Yep. They have, but
Keith is impressed.
I like the way Castillo pitches, though.
Of
He's
course.
we both should have got him last year.
Honestly,
we don't,
dude.
And here we are.
You know, a lot of guys. Rick today was talking about how the Mets should have got JD Martinez last season
and this offseason.
Yeah, really, dude. But I thought it was pretty interesting if we did have him.
We talked about that.
Yeah, we did.
The deadline. Yeah. So
too bad.
All we could hope for, Tony, is an entertaining game tonight. Obviously, both wanting that elusive victory.
You're gonna be watching at home?
I am golfing, but I mean, I'll probably have to join in progress, but I'll watch on my phone in the cart. Definitely.
Nice, dude. That's cool.
But it's I think it'll be another good one, though, I have to say.
Yeah, I think so too.
So may the best man win, Tony. And speaking of winning, we had a winner of the Stanley Cup last night. Let's go to the world, the National Hockey League.
Here's Matthews. Scores! Hat-trick goal!
My goodness, this is a great shot. Big hit on the far side by McCarr. He flattens Jordan's skull. Oh, my goodness. Next to come right back. Terrifying and robbed by Shesterkin. That's brilliant from Igor Shesterkin. It's a breakaway to win it in overtime. McDavid scores the winner in overtime.
All right. So the Golden Knights winning their first Stanley Cup franchise history, a decisive 9-3 victory over the Panthers last night. Jumping out to a 2-goal lead in the first period, never looking back the rest of the way. Just what a run for the Golden Knights this postseason. Probably a little overshadowed by the success or by the Panthers, of course. You beat a team that's the best in NHL history. But Mark Stone had a hat trick last night.
Yeah, dude, the captain.
One in the first. So ended this postseason with 11 goals. Hagee had one in the second as well. And then before 5 consecutive Golden Knight goals, Panthers did get Ekbald with his second. But then Martinez, Smith, Stone, Amato, Barbashev into the third there. Kind of some sympathy goals from Reinert and Bennett to make it 7-3, but then Stone his hat trick, Roy to answer 9-3. The journey is complete. Aiden Hill, the legend. You wonder how much money he's going to make off of this Stanley Cup run, and what his future holds. What do you mean? Kachuk didn't play, but you're saying that the Panthers were too tired. You're saying from the previous series?
Yeah. I think so, honestly, at this point of the playoffs, and we were talking about it too with the Heat in the NBA, where you get this team who's the underdog, constantly kind of fighting an uphill battle, succeeding in that, but forcing, they're the team that forced game 6, forced game 7, had to go, in the opposing team's arena, like against all odds, like again, like I said, constantly like on their backs trying to fight to get up. And it's great they did it. But I think you saw it in the beginning, of the Stanley Cup Finals of this series, where telltale sign of you're too tired is you're committing undisciplined, unorthodox penalties, and a lot of them, which is exactly what the Panthers did. They had they gave the Knights a lot of power play opportunities. Like I said, it's a telltale sign that your legs are tired, so you're overcompensating with your stick by reaching, overcompensating with your upper body by reaching, by holding, which evidently kind of causes tripping penalties, holding penalties, slashing penalties. Like all those penalties kind of stem from your either lazy or tired. And we know the Panthers aren't lazy, so it's them being tired. They did say that last game Kachuk was playing with a broken sternum. People at home, if you don't know what that is, it's like part of your chest cavity. It's like right here. So I would imagine he broke that via a hit, like body on body contact. I would imagine that is really painful. which is why his time was limited in the previous game, which is why he didn't play at all last night. Very unfortunate. But injuries are part of the game. You got to figure it out. But you saw it. You saw it even in Bobrovsky too. I think Mark Stone's second goal, which was a great goal, but it was one of those goals where I forget who it had coming up the ice, but it was just cross ice pass. Typically, you see so many times goaltenders, especially good ones, just slide over on their pads and are able to smother that. Sometimes when a goaltender doesn't slide over quick enough, it's because he has tired legs. He doesn't have the strength to use his leg and push off as hard. Again, that's because how many times Bobrovsky was challenged, not even just last night, but throughout this entire series. He looked tired too. That was a goal he typically would not give up. Again, another telltale sign the Panthers were tired. And again, like on top of being tired coming into this series, you have a Golden Knights team that's hungry, that's vigilant, physical, smart, efficient, quick. It's just a recipe for success, for the Knights at that point. That being said, it is, a lot of people were like, oh, wow. This game, talk about no juice, by the end of the second period. It was like 5-1, I think, by the end of the second period, something like that. Or 6-1, whatever it was. Game's over, dude. Like it felt literally like when that, I think it was, like I said, Stone's second goal. I think that's when it was like, to me, it's like, all right, like Panthers, there's no way they're coming back. Like it's over, dude. Like it's donezo. And you saw it, like the Knights celebrating on the bench, and you could just see the complete polar opposites in terms of vibe, feeling, emotions, like what was going on in their heads right next to these two benches right here, dude. And of course the crowd into it for the Knights. Tremendous what the Knights have done in 6 years in terms of building a team, going to the Cup final twice. And then obviously, this year winning the Cup finally for the first time in the franchise history. So much great talent with O'Reilly on the team, Barbashev, Alex Pietrangelo hoisting his second Cup. Of course, Mark Stone.
Quick his second
too, which is kind of funny because that was a whole big, like, when they started to put Aiden Hill in, they're like, why aren't you not putting Jonathan Quick in?
Here we are.
But Quick gets his second Cup. That's totally fine. Jack Eichel getting his first. I mean, that was huge, I think, for him. A huge personal victory because you think about where he came from in terms of Buffalo. I mean, second overall pick to Buffalo, and they totally kind of flubbed his surgery. Not flub it, but they didn't allow him to get the surgery. So they dealt him. Obviously, they got some good return for him too, but obviously Jack Eichel, last laugh here. And of course, Marshall Schultz, who got the Conn Smythe Trophy too. Yeah. MVP of the finals. Certainly deserved it. Was such an addition. The entire postseason, dude. I mean, what do you have? Like 15 postseason goals, something like that.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
So impressive, dude. It was just an all around great effort by the Knights. And again, you kind of look at the year as a whole. Golden Knights, it just seemed like they just stole it, because you think about who was coming out of the West, Dallas on top, the Jets being competitive. You could know about the Oilers, and then for the Golden Knights to just come out on top. Again, you have the Colorado coming out of the West too. Crazy. Again, almost like a Cinderella story in their own right for the Golden Knights to win the Cup. Obviously not as, I guess, emphatic as the Panthers would be, but certainly two teams I don't think many people guessed would be in the Cup final, let alone having the Knights win it in this fashion too, with such a dominant fashion. Obviously good for them, dude. It was nice to see. So it's always cool to watch people hoist the Cup, no matter the team, at least for me anyway. I mean, the trophy's like 130 years old and stuff like that, tradition, and it's dope. In my opinion, it's the best trophy, honestly, in all of sports. And it was cool to see everyone on the Knights just ecstatic. It was cool to see them do it in their own house too. Vegas, there's a really bright future for the Golden Knights, and obviously with all the rumors about teams moving to Vegas too, a bright future for sports in general for Vegas. So
yeah,
it's dope.
I had the Aces last year at WNBA. Get the Knights now. What a season it was in the National Hockey League, and Just hope this time next year, Tony, we're talking about the Rangers ending that drought.
Yeah.
1994. Peter Laviolette officially named yesterday.
Yeah, I did see that, dude.
Press conference next week. I guess they want the credentialed media to be there, so they're giving him extra time.
Right. What do you think?
Don was fine with it. He said, there wasn't going to be anybody out there that was going to have better credentials. I think Boomer wanted Quenneville. So I guess like we were kind of talking about, there just wasn't a perfect candidate out there. The only thing that I struggle with a little bit, Tony, is somebody with his credentials, somebody who won early on in his career, no matter what sport we're talking about, then they get a couple times, they don't win in the finals, and then they get another time. It seems like after that first time, and I know this is general speak, but like they never do it again. Like maybe they make the cup, but they don't win the cup.
Yeah. I don't know. I was listening to DiPietro talk about this, and he was actually coached by Laviolette. And he had nothing but good things to say about him. He does say like everything when he's going to come into this team, when he does and he starts practicing, whatever, everyone has to earn
their
everything,
spot,
dude. Yeah, it's like you have a good game, you earned your next game, but you still have to earn the game after that. You have to earn your next shift, constantly just proving yourself over and over again. He does say that Laviolette does get hot-headed in terms of like almost not to the same extent, but he did mention Tortorella, kind of like that type of like angry, which is I think has its perks for sure, has its pros and cons. And again, like I said, he had all of the nice things I know to say about him. He said he was a great coach. He loved him a lot. And despite him having, anger problems, he is the type of coach that makes like mid-game adjustments, tells you what you need to do and why, and which, he's obviously alluding to, Gallant not doing that. So improvement, probably. Are we winning a cup? I mean, obviously, ownership hired this guy. Ownership believes in the players we have. Ownership thinks we can win now, which is why they brought in Laviolette. So it's certainly possible, dude. I'm looking forward to the press conference. I'd love to hear him speak. This is someone who, despite, winning, what was it, 17, 18, however many years ago it was, he still has been coaching in the NHL. Like, it's not like he got fired, never rehired. He's been coaching for like 20 years.
Right.
I mean, that's a long career. I think that certainly has some type of weight to it, to be a professional hockey coach for that long. I know it's with a lot of different teams, and that kind of scares people a little bit too. But I guess we'll kind of see.
Yeah.
So hopeful, excited that we have a coach that we can move on from that too. And I guess to what you were saying, like what Don said, which is kind of like what we said yesterday too, but who like Quenneville? Come on.
Drury from the front office would have been interesting.
Drury could be president, GM, and coach, and then why not just suit up and play at that point? While managing Colony, by the way, while opening more colonies.
Yeah, but why not? First of all, I don't know why this hasn't happened. Like, why is Colony not
in the Garden?
Yeah,
that's a good question, dude.
But of course, you bring it there, the quality suffers.
Oh yeah, and then people are like, "What? This pizza's from Connecticut? Get this out of my face!"
That's why they're not doing that. And then Matthew, besides saying fellas, said Florida many injuries. I heard 2 guys had positive shoulder, 1 guy broke a foot. Matthew Dude being Kachuk, had a cracked sternum. So all of that, but I think it was still highly successful season for Florida. After barely getting into the playoffs. So they have to be somewhat happy there. A couple tweaks, and they can find themselves in a similar scenario next season, Tony.
Yeah. It should be interesting to see where they go. I'm not sure who on their team is going to be free agents or anything like that. Obviously, they have Kachuk. Bobrovsky is someone who, we talked about him just really stepping up for this playoff series, for this playoff run in general. I think his average goals against was like 2.5 or 2.2, which is really good for him at his age too.
Right,
so,
after the numbers he had in the regular season.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So it kind of puts you in a position where it's like you're almost expecting him to not be as good come the regular season next year. So it's always tough on a Cinderella run because so many guys prove themselves in the postseason. But it's like, are you willing to bet on them again next season? It's going to be interesting what Florida's going to do. Now that we're in the offseason, technically, I think you're going to start seeing some moves for sure, though.
Yeah.
People already thinking next year.
So we'll be here when we're breaking down the Vinny Trocheck trade to the Islanders.
Why do you hate Vinny Trocheck so much?
Salary's too high. Tight cap, and you know it. That's the only
What
reason.
is it? 6.5 a year?
Jeez.
7 year?
Something like that, yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, for a face-off specialist, Tony.
Oh.
Come on, dude.
Yeah. You come on, dude.
Tony, come on. But yeah, so
Are you kidding?
that should be interesting. But other than potentially giving Craig O a shot at 8:30, anything else you wanted to mention?
Oh,
Not really.
That's a good way to end it.
Yeah, just like that, dude.
But yeah, looking
Wow, hour
forward.
25 we went, huh?
Yeah.
I feel like just a minute ago I was looking at it. It's like an hour 08.
I want to say 95% of the time we're within an hour 20 and an hour 30.
Yeah, pretty solid, dude.
No matter what the subject matter, a lot of topics, no topics. You won. And I guess one thing I was gonna say here too, I don't care about the face-off percentage, but Trocheck, did have 12 more assists in the previous year in Carolina and 1 more goal. So woohoo.
How many points in the season?
64. So almost what would that be? 10. I'm just like blanking here. Wow. I'm trying to think about millions. Okay, so it's almost 10 points per $1 million you give him.
Okay.
So
I see what you're saying.
So
That's interesting. That sounds kind of good, I guess.
but I'm telling you, let's trade him.
That's kind of a weird breakdown.
Let's
No
open
one
up the
breaks it
books.
down like that.
Let's
That's
open up the
ridiculous.
books, Tony. All right. We could go to Colony. We'll talk to Jury about it. All right. But once again, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in, continuing to comment, like, and subscribe. All the archives on the YouTube page. Tony, Michael, Renee in costume. The merch at downtimetv.com. We want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the game. Let's go, Yankees. And we will see you. Mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do.